what's going on, guys? This is Mias, and today I'm actually going to be reviewing the first week of January 2021. Wait, what? Apparently we're still stuck in 2020. Whoa, this is probably this is a pretty weird year, huh? Imagine after we're done with December 31st, we're back to January 1 to 6, 2020. But yeah, so let's jump right into it, I guess. The first, of course, the top deck in the OCG is still Virtual World, but the number is pretty garbage. It's only 15%. It was in the 22 or 23% last time and the time before that, so dropping to 15. I think people are heavily main decking to beat it, and also if your deck doesn't lose to VFD, well, you're pretty much at everything. And of course, Eldlich, always super steady. I just feel like this deck, as long as it doesn't get a huge hit, will always be the second or, you know, in the top 2 best decks. You know, it probably is the best deck. It's just that since it's already been around for so long, people always want to play like new decks because they think they can catch people off guard. This is actually what's going on with Drytron here in the TCG, and in the OCG people don't care about Drytron, but they do care about Virtual World. So yeah, I guess this is the most shocking thing, actually. So Prankids is tied with Eldlich as the second best deck, which is crazy. 12.5% of the representation, so 5 Prankids deck. And then after that we have Chaos Thunder, Code Talker. Dragon Maid is no longer the 3rd best deck. It's well, okay, it's like the 5th best deck or something. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yeah, well, actually no, they're all tied for 3rd when I think about it. 7.5. So they all have 3 representation. Dragon Maid tied with Code Talker, Chaos Thunder, Phantom Knight, and Zodiac. Crazy how Phantom Knights are actually doing just as well, because the thing is, they're really good. They do really nice boards, but they kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't really play them in the TCG. They kind of lose really hard to interruptions, and right now people are still playing hand shops, which I don't understand why. I feel like you're better off without hand shops, usually in most formats. Sometimes we get like shitty formats where you have to play hand shops, like I mean, Adamantipator, I guess, was one of those crappy formats where you had to literally main deck cards that only beat Adamantipator, and then you would lose to Eldlich and be like, oh shit, I guess my life sucks. But yeah, apart from that, we have 2 Salamangreat. Oh, interesting. Speaking of the devil, 1 Adamantia. Ancient Warrior Tri-Brigade, Dragmine Vogue Chadal. This deck should definitely be up there. It's so good. Who cares if Nadir got limited? You don't even have to play the Invoked, and you don't even have to play the Dragma cards. Just Shadows with traps and other stuff is just already good enough. Grand Maju, I guess. Magic Bullets, interesting. Spiral, Zephyr. Spiral in the TCG sucks, but in the OCG it still has a bunch of cards, I guess, so yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Virtual World, do you notice something? I feel like I'm about to say the exact same as, you know, as the last time, and I mean, even they mentioned it here, and the exact same build as last week, except swapping 1 evenly for 1 Droll and Logbird in the side deck. This is just the most boring thing ever. It's so predictable, the deck list. Everyone plays the exact same shit. It's so lame, man. Always the 15 Virtual Worlds, the hand shops, 2 to 3 Maxi. Whoa, you play 2 Maxi, you're so much spicier than I am. And then, of course, 3 Colon, 3 King Long, 3 Desires. Obviously, you don't want to play a 40 card deck with Upstart, which is a 39 card deck, so we want to play 3 Desires because that extra card really matters. Nyan Nyan can actually put back a banished card, not necessarily a banished monster, spell, or trap, a banished card, which includes face down cards. And even if you draw 2 Desires, you just pitch the surplus with King Long or the continuous trap. It's great of effect. Not Chooch, but the other one, I forgot the name. Doesn't exist in the TCG yet, by the way. Should be out in Blazing Vortex. And then, of course, 3 Noblemen, 3 Crossout Designator with 3 Designator from the Grave, which makes this super, I don't know, yeah. 2 Emergency Teleport, obviously maxing out on that. 3 Tactical Talents, Duster, blah, blah, blah. It's boring, man. Extra deck, same thing. Exactly same thing. The side deck, ooh, that's insane, man. It's the innovation. Now I actually chose to play a Droll and Lock instead of evenly. And also, I play 1 Pankratops, 2 Nibiru, 2 Lancia, 3 Gamma Driver, 2 Lightning Storm, 2 Twin Twister. The next thing you know, people are gonna play like 1 Gamma and 3 Driver, or 2 Gamma, 1 Drivers. you know, at this point, what are people even gonna change? This is just, I'm sick of this. It's just, this is boring. But honestly, I don't care because I don't play events, so yeah. Eldlich, alright. Yeah, so he's basically just playing hand traps, which, well, I mean, not really. It's same, only 6. That's not a high number. So, 2 Eldlich, 1 of each of the Zodiacs, which I already said why I liked a lot, but I don't like the fact that he's playing 3 Tenki. Tenki should be a 2 of. But apart from that, I have nothing else to say. This is just beautiful to look at with 2 Eldlich, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash. It's still the exact same deck list as last time, kind of. Maybe it's just a 40 card deck with only 2 Cyclone and something else that... Oh, now he actually has... now he's playing the White Fate. Called by the Grave is a 2 in the OCG, if I recall correctly, so that might be the reason why you actually play this. And also, nobody plays Ice Dragon's Prison in this deck. Interesting. And then, of course, yeah, whatever. Everything else is just boring. Only 1 Hakuero, alright. 1 Wakanda Forever, 3 Solemn Judgment, but 2 Strike? What is this logic? I mean, well, to be fair, I guess Judgment is only here for Duster from Virtual World, because in case you actually know, Virtual World, their only win condition against Eldlich is resolving Harpy's Feather Duster and OTKing them. Because in Game 2 and 3, Eldlich wants to go second against Virtual World, obviously. Why would you be scared of VFD Pass? And yeah, you're just not really doing anything. They don't even play the Enter Blathnir, so if they do commit to a rank 9, it's VFD, which does nothing. Oh no, I can't do something with my Eldlich the Golden Lord, or I guess they don't even need those Zodiac monsters anymore. Anyways, nothing spicy here, only 1 Zooking Alpha. See, the OCG does this a lot, whereas the TCG doesn't. They like to play unsearchable 1-ofs in their side deck, and the reason for that is because they value more variety over the fact that you're playing a good card maximized so you always see it, because good cards are only good cards when you draw them when you want to, in the amounts that you want to. So if you're drawing 2 Zooking Alpha because you're siding 3, or if you draw 3 because you side 3 or whatever, then Zooking Alpha is no longer a good card, it becomes a bad card. But if you only play 1 and you draw 1, it's good. And if you don't draw it, well, whatever. You have other side deck cards, it only took 1 spot. So... thing is, since this card is really easy to play against pretty much everyone, that's why this logic makes sense. Pankratops, I think, is limited anyways, yeah, because of the most recent Forbidden Limited list. Nibiru, I guess, maybe the same logic. I don't know, it's a hand trap, so you kind of want to see it, but at the same time, it is a once per turn, so it could make sense. Lancia is not a once per turn, so if they have Crossout Designator or Called by the Grave, you can just chain another Lancia that successfully resolves, since it is lingering. So even if the first Lancia gets like Called by the Grave, it doesn't matter. Then of course 3 Gamma, which I guess is a trend. Everybody's pretty much siding Gamma in the OCG. In the TCG, I think it's kind of not really the same, honestly, because the thing is, you can't really play Gamma in Drytron. Like, what happens? You go Nova, they go Ash. You can't go Gamma here, obviously not. You won't be able to do anything, so yeah, I mean, summon your driver so no Drytron cards can be used. And besides, I don't even think that's legal anyway. I'm actually not sure, I might actually have to check. Anyways, everything else is just boring. However, I guess when you're playing Crossout Designator, you have to kind of vary the back row removal that you're playing. So if you're playing Cyclone, they can Crossout Designator call the Cyclone, and if you're playing Duster, same thing. So when you're playing cards that people don't really prepare for as much, like Lightning Storm and Twin, since they're not so great going first, well, I mean, I guess Twin kind of, since you can set it, but it's still discard 1 and you have to pop during the opponent's end phase, not as good. Well, at least you're kind of covered around, you know, Crossout Designator. Anyways, this is the most interesting thing out, you know, up until now, but I don't understand why he doesn't play Skill Drain. I mean, that's just the first thing that I see, that he only plays 3 traps. I really, really like the fact that people are just no longer playing Valor in Infinite. It just kind of... it confirms that OCG players, even despite what we believe, they kind of at least know how to play hand traps, because usually what you see with them that I don't like at all is that they usually just play a bunch of hand traps in every single deck, and they call it a deck, and they're like, yeah, my deck is good going second. I play 15 hand traps, my deck is good. But at the same time, the hand traps are not even like well adapted for the meta, and when you play like 3 Valor, 3 Infinite, and people are making VFD through like infinite billion like Veilers, it doesn't matter at all. And now I guess 2 Ghost Bell, I guess kind of makes sense to a certain extent. You are scared of Called by the Grave on your Prankid Link too, because if you don't tribute it, there's no added value. It's a hard once per turn anyways, if I recall correctly. And yes, Skullmeister is pretty nice too. 3 Ash, 3 Maxi. I mean, this is just kind of obvious because if you want to counter Maxi, you need Ash, and if you don't want to die, you need to Maxi your opponent, which is frustrating. The only decks that are kind of safe through that are Eldlich, Zodiac. I mean, just Eldlich variants. This is why this deck, I want to say, is probably the deck with the best stability in the OCG, which explains why it consistently gets second place. And Virtual World has so much representation, like so many people play it, that it makes sense that it's the #1 deck, as in, you know, placement, but it's not necessarily the best like deck with the deck with the highest conversion rate. It's just maybe people play the most. I'm not sure actually. I'm just extrapolating. I think this is, you know, how it is, but I could be wrong for sure. And Prankids, I guess, I don't know why it's a trend necessarily. I guess it's a pretty decent matchup against a lot of decks if you get to play. There Can Only Be One is really gigantic. It doesn't screw you over that much. And if you go first against, like, let's say, like Virtual World, and you set up a Butler that can use its effect twice, it's kind of just game over when you think about it. And the fact that you get to play just Yu-Gi-Oh! With 1 card and have the space for that many utility cards, you can safely play through hand traps when you play like 5 Called by the Grave. We only have 1, Called by the Grave limited in, yeah, exactly, Called by the Grave limited in the TCG, and we don't have Crossout Designator yet. So 5 copies of anti-hand trap against only 1. This can technically negate like Nibiru and shit, but nobody's main decking Nibiru right now in the OCG because people also don't want to lose too hard to this deck. So this is kind of a triangular format in a way. There is Virtual World, Eldlich, and everyone else is kind of tied as, you know, kind of identical for the 3rd best deck. And it's not even me who's saying that. Just look at these numbers, man. 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5. That's literally everyone else. It's kind of a triangular format. And Prankids, I want to say maybe it was just a fluke, so maybe it should be under this, you know, category, everyone else, and then these two are the big bosses, you know, the big kings. But yeah, once again, the side deck, this is insane, man. The exact same thing everywhere I go. 1 Pankratops, 2 Nibiru. You're always going to see every single side deck in existence with 1 Pankratops, and for some reason, exactly 2 Nibiru, and then 3 Lancia, 3 Lightning Storm, 3 Cyclone, 2 Evenly, 1 Red Reboot. See, I really kind of want to make, like, I want to be able to, like, interview an OCG player who has a lot of success and experience in the OCG, pretty much asking him why, I mean, I guess, how do people actually kind of get these ratios, and what makes you wanna, like, what makes you more prone to side decking a certain card over another, like, just Lightning Storm, Cyclone. Yeah, okay, sure, he is main decking Duster. He's even main decking 3 Twin. This is crazy. And of course, Thunder Dragon Fusion makes sense. It summons Butler. It kind of is a brick, but with Anaconda, it's fine. I mean, it's not really much of a brick, but it only is usable if you can play the game fully anyways. And it also searches a Thunder for next turn, so I think the Thunder is the Wind guy. This is the Rock, this is the Pyro, and this is the Aqua, of course. This makes Toad. It just conveniently happens to be a level 2. This is why Toad is in there. But if your opponent actually goes for Maximus Dragma, you can pitch a lot of good cards that have effects. And by the way, another thing that I see that I like a lot, huge kudos to that guy, he doesn't play the Link 4 Gyarados monster, whatever, alongside the Prankids Trap that just kind of reduces the attack of your opponent and allows you to Link Summon during the opponent's turn. That card is just unnecessary. And he's only playing 1 Prankids, I think that's Prank, I forgot. This is Pandemonium and this is Place. So yeah, this is the token generator. Only playing 1. I love this so much. Yeah, just beautiful. I really like this deck list. It makes the most amount of sense outside of the fact that it's a 41 card deck with, I don't know, maybe not the hand traps that I would be playing. I mean, of course, in the TCG, things would be definitely different since we don't have Maxi. But yeah, there can only be one is great. I would definitely play Skill Drain, except that maybe it's not great against Eldlich, which I can understand, and it's not good against Virtual Worlds. Never mind. All right, yeah, you get your point. All right, Skill Drain maybe not the best right now. And yeah, in conclusion, what they wanted to say is that once again, Virtual World and Eldlich are the best decks, but Prankids are actually shockingly gaining in play for some reason. Chaos Thunder, Code Talker, Dragon Maid, and Phantom Knights are pretty much you know, almost on par with the third best deck, or I guess the second best deck, etc. And Cyphering Gear Gamma is actually, I guess, not really a recent trend, but people are really playing this card because it kind of covers a lot of combo decks. Not necessarily good against trap decks, but pretty good against combo decks. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys were able to learn a thing or two with this OCG metagame breakdown. Once again, the reason why I want to showcase these breakdowns, even though this is a TCG channel, I guess. Well, not necessarily just TCG. I want to be able to branch out to pretty much everyone, but I also want to teach the TCG players how this can be of significant impact for the TCG itself. It's pretty huge. So yeah, before we end, friendly reminder to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very, very soon. Peace.